Next up, at UFC St. Louis, we have the hometown kid, Charles Johnson, coming off the best win of his entire career, taking on Jake Hadley. Charles Johnson, 14-6 overall, 2-3 in his last 5. He is coming off that fight of the night win over Azat Maxim. Taking on Jake Hadley, 10-2 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off of that wrestle-heavy loss to Cody Durden. This is an interesting matchup because it's really going to come down to how much stock do you put into what Charles Johnson just did versus what we've seen him do previously. Because what Charles Johnson just did was absolutely spectacular. He smoked Azat Maxim. And when I say smoked, I mean he almost got finished like 7 times, survived, and then cranked it up. All of a sudden, he's shooting takedowns. All of a sudden, he's defending takedowns. All of a sudden, he's working his own chokes after being almost finished several times in that first. A different referee may have stopped that fight more than once. But Charles Johnson showed us how insanely durable he is, which I don't think that was ever in question, but also all of these other skills that he was able to put together. His offensive wrestling looked fantastic. We knew his striking was pretty good, but it looked even busier and better than ever. We knew he had a decent chin, and while it did look like it was giving up on him, that dude popped right back up, moved forward, and won that decision. Charles Johnson looked spectacular in his last fight. And again, the question becomes, is that who Charles Johnson is? Did he finally find his footing in the UFC? Or was that a man that knew he was fighting for his job, fought for his job, and got it? But now he's home. So even if that was a one-off fight, he's home in his hometown, in his home arena. Is he going to muster that up and do it again? And it's not an easy task ahead of him because he's taking on Jake Hadley. Jake Hadley's a very solid striker. He rounds himself out with very slick BJJ. Good boxing, good timing on his feet, good takedowns, aggressive BJJ on the ground. He's very good. He's got multiple regional titles in different promotions, and he also has 15 minutes of cardio. We basically have 2 guys that almost fight similarly. Jake Hadley's a little busier than Charles Johnson is. Jake Hadley's got better, at least up until what we saw in his last fight. Jake Hadley has better offensive wrestling. And that's going to make this a very interesting fight. If I did not see Charles Johnson's last fight, I would say, yeah, it's got to be Jake Hadley. It's got to be Jake Hadley. But after seeing Charles Johnson's last fight, it's like, damn, how good is this guy? Because in that fight, he looked absolutely spectacular. I am still going to lean Jake Hadley. I have seen Jake Hadley look very good in multiple fights. I've seen Charles Johnson look spectacular in one fight, finish an aging Jimmy Flick, and then have a couple of fights that shouldn't have been as close as they were. So I'm going to insanely slight lean Jake Hadley here. But if you want to factor in the hometown guy and the crowd behind him and all that other stuff, I'm not going to argue with you. I'll be rooting for Charles Johnson. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Quick update. Pacers are up 10.5. I think Jalen Brunson might be hurt. I don't know if he's coming back. If somebody could update me, because you've been blabbing. I'm trying to listen to the game, and you're just like blabbing. I don't know what happened to Jalen Brunson, but I think he might be hurt. Pacers up 10.5. We're feeling good. Like the stream if we're having fun. Put 1 in the chat if the Pacers are going to win the championship. Let's see him spam it. Who did you pick for this?
It's Jake Hadley very slightly. Let me deal with these dogs.
Holy shit, thank God I can unmute myself. That dumb bitch fucking muted me as he fucking walked away. Listen, Angelo picked Jake Hadley. If you guys have not watched the Lock of the Week video, by the way, go watch the Lock of the Week video. Let me just say, the Lock of the Week video has like already 5,000 views in like just a few hours. So thank you guys so much for supporting the Lock of the Week video. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. The edit is incredible. I've already reached out to Charles Energy Johnson because... This dude's Lock of the Week, baby. Charles Johnson, Energy is the Lock of the Week, and I feel so good about it. Home in the STL. He is fired up. If you watch his Instagram, this dude's been fired up. He's finally fighting in front of a big crowd. He's finally fighting somebody that's not going to be diving at his ankles every 30 fucking seconds for 15 fucking minutes. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Jake Hadley turns into that type of dude, but Jake Hadley is not taking down a guy like Charles Johnson. Jake Hadley is not submitting a guy like Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson's going to be all over this guy. Finally has a striking matchup. There might be a little bit of adversity early, a close round early, and then this dude's going to take over. I want you to go back and watch Charles Johnson third round of his last fight, third round of a few fights. I want you to watch Charles Johnson in the third round of some of these fights when he got steamrolled with the wrestling and tired in the first couple rounds, came back and wins the third round of a lot of these fights. Jake Hadley, go watch the third round versus Cody Durden. Angelo, you watch that third round versus Cody Durden? That dude's just kind of turtling up. He's tired. Oh, he don't want to be there. Oh,
You
it's
got out-wrestled big
it's
time.
a close fight. Oh, it's a close fight. He's in the third round. He's just like, oh, I want to go home. I want to go back to London. Right? Not Charles Johnson. Not in St. Louis, baby. This dude's coming in, coming hard, coming everywhere. First round, second round, and I believe in my mind that this dude, Charles Johnson, is going to break this fucking elf-looking bitch in the third round and get a third-round finish. Charles Johnson is a lock of the fucking week. We had 4 in a row, 5 of 6, a little step back last week. Angelo, I can't pick 100%, although I do try. Sometimes you take a step back to go 2 steps forward. Whew! And this is the one this week, baby. Charles Johnson, lock of the week. Angelo, you can still switch your pick.
I picked Hadley at an insanely low confidence. Listen, I get it. Anybody who's going to pick Charles Johnson, I'll be rooting for Charles Johnson. After his last fight, like, damn, dude, spectacular. The couple fights before that, though, were very disappointing. The fight with O'Day.
At legs. I mean,
the fight with O'Day, that was a disappointing fight. That was last year.
I think a lot of those fights are short notice, too. This dude's had a full
He has stepped up a ton of times. Yeah, he has stepped up a ton of times.
Man, people don't realize,
I'm rooting for him.
This dude
Yeah.
energy.
Did I have this
Angelo
slide
was
up?
in a bad mood, guys. Sorry about that.
I'm not in a bad mood at all. Jacob
You
screaming and
muted
yelling.
me as you walked away.
Well, that was
myself.
I clicked the wrong one because you're the one that's right in front of me. I'm glad you were able to do that. I realized that after. But no, it was listen, I have been traveling for work for the last 3 days, so I came home. It's chaos.
What's in your hand
house.
there, sweetheart?
My headphone case.
Is that your
The-
heart monitor?
I always just keep something in my hand. I'm a real fidgety guy.
What's
the
your
dogs-
insulin level right now? Can you check that for us?
Hold on. Couldn't find it. The $7,600 in DraftKings. The problem with Charles Johnson, he doesn't historically score very well. But $7,600 is such a low price point that if he pulls off a decision, even if he has a takedown or two, that could be worth it. You going to spend that $7,600? I mean, I think you think he wins anyway. So, can I get an answer?
Hey, can we get some GGs and some claps in the chat for Angelo? Because that was funny. That was funny, guys. He got it. That was funny. Take a bow. Push the chair back. Take a bow. Here you go. Swallow that thing, baby. Yeah.
Okay. What's your DraftKings situation here?
Angelo acting like a child. Do you want to pin that one?
No, I'll pin the one that says stop talking about other sports. It's brutal.
Yeah,
I'll pin that one.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. What are we betting? Hold on. It's right here.
Fuck you, Trevor, you stupid bitch. Who the fuck are you, Trevor?
All right.
You boring fuck.
If you guys want to unlock, this is it. Nobody's going to say, actually, we did get 3 signups since the stream started. So I thank the 3 of you.
Appreciate
Most
you guys.
recently,
Hey, appreciate you guys.
Anthony G. I'm not going to dox you. Anthony G. Most recently, 3 minutes ago. Thank you so much. Appreciate you very much. And you instantly had access to bets, the picks, the round line leans, the prize picks plays, and everything else. And what you will notice on the website is it's currently going under some renovations. The prize picks page is new. The underdog page is new. A lot of these pages are starting to flip to the new model, the new look, and we're going to make the bets even easier. We're going to start combining sections and just make it even easier, a click or two away. You can add everything you want. And there's still everything that we offer. WeWantPicks.com. Click become freaking $10 a month. What are we talking about here?